up and a few cuts and scrapes by the police officer. So I certainly hope. Sounds like he's recovered very well. And, of course, everything's back to normal on the PGA Tour. After 2 rounds at Jack Nicklaus's tournament at Muirfield Village, the Memorial, Scotty Scheffler is leading by 3.
Yeah, I saw that. There was a clip of it on the news last night. I don't know if you saw it. It wasn't real revealing. Just had Scotty in handcuffs saying, I'm just trying to get to a tee time. That's the only thing I could make out. I'm just trying to get to the tee time. They said the officer had some cuts and scrapes and something, maybe his coat was torn or whatever, but nothing major. I mean, they acted like, good a little media sensationalism, like this was going to be a big thing, but it's basically just him in handcuffs getting in the car.
We saw a couple of views from cameras, essentially. Most of them after the actual incident of Scheffler being handcuffed and being trotted off. We've seen different angles of that. One specifically from one of the police car dash cams, I believe. The only telling thing that we see in terms of the actual incident does not show the initial interaction between the officer and Scheffler. There's a bus there. It's an overhead street camera view, and there's a bus blocking the view. Where we pick up and see Scotty's vehicle is he is turning left into Valhalla, and at that point you see individual we are assuming is that officer basically running up. It looks like has a flashlight in his hand and just rears back and slams the flashlight into the driver's side window of Scheffler's vehicle. Now, obviously, if that's the first thing you see, you think that looks a little heavy-handed. But to be fair to the officer, we don't know what the initial interaction was. We are assuming, because we don't see see the officer getting drug at this point, we would have to assume the cuts and scrapes and the torn pants, that whole episode, whatever caused that or occurred there must have happened before Scotty attempted to turn into Valhalla. That's where I think there was a misunderstanding where, again, we've talked about it for several weeks. Scotty probably trying to get into to Valhalla, to get into the golf club, trying to get started, getting in for a tee time, and his again, as I've alluded to, as I've said ad nauseum, the players, their reaction, their reflex, especially there at an entrance, the tour is encouraging them. Everybody encourages them to go in. Their reflex, where our reflex is to slow or stop with that traffic, their reflex is to keep going. Get into the golf course. You're more secure there. We can protect you. We can protect you from fans and whatnot, and also just the tournament is set up for them anyway. So they're the ones they're supposed to keep moving. If there's traffic, you're supposed to work around it, move around, recognizing the vehicle, and also. There are rumors, as I mentioned several weeks ago. I've not been able to confirm this, but there are rumors that this was this officer's first shift on the road. So obviously, let's throw in the dynamic of you've had an individual who was struck and ended up being killed earlier. So these officers are on high alert. Their senses are heightened. So obviously, in a way, a tense situation around that area. The accident occurred off, not where Scotty was entering in. It was a little ways off, so it's not like Scotty was going through a crime scene or something like that. His attorney was clear about that. So a lot to try to unpack there. The one thing, Tom, I know we talked about this a few weeks ago, that I will give credit to your point that in terms of Scotty's I hate to use the term privilege, but how he went about this. One of the dash cam videos picks up him talking to an officer after the fact. He's already been arrested. He's been put in the back of the car. And you listen to Scotty's mentality, and he says, he's like, look, if I had known it was an officer, I understand I should have slowed down. I should have stopped. I was in a hurry. So that does offer a differing perspective as well, that he's acknowledging where his reflex is to go. He is acknowledging, that's not necessarily what I should have done. So there's an admittance or a recognition of wrongdoing, or if you don't want to say wrongdoing, if that's a little heavy-handed, of misunderstanding on both sides.
Well, he certainly acted like he didn't have to stop. And, if he would have, this would have been avoided. But I would just say this: if it was any one of us at this table, we'd still be in trouble. But
well,
it is what it is.
Tom, I think, and also when you sit back and think about it, if he's an officer and this is the first time he's ever did this, he's going to make to expect where everything should be coming from. All I know is this car's not stopping. I do not know who it is in the car, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, I give or take a little bit with him. I know what he did was wrong, and maybe put it to a different perspective.
And I've had this conversation with friends before. This is going to be cliche. I respect and appreciate our law enforcement. They have a thankless job, and I'm ever appreciative of what they do to protect me and keep me safe.
Yeah.
Every day in and day out. They have family members who and this is not hyperbole. They walk out the door. They don't know if they're going to see him again, especially in the heightened society that we're in right now. I do not want to diminish that at all. So, looking at this officer again, this situation being a little as the professional in that scenario for the security of that role, your job is to, as best as possible, keep the situation de-escalated.
Yep.
I don't know if the police officer necessarily did that, followed through on that aspect of his professionalism in this situation.
There's no video to substantiate.
Correct. That and to Tom's point, that I'm going off of assumption on that.
Certainly hadn't hurt his mentality, because he, he's leading the tournament. I think he had a lead in the tournament that this all happened in, wasn't it?
He was in contention, and he went out that next day, fired a 60, or that same day came back running on adrenaline, fired a 66. He made a good point. The third round is really what caught up to him. And if you think about it, any of us that you put us in the same scenario, we're going to be running off of adrenaline pretty much most of the rest of that day. It was Saturday, the third round, 24 hours after all this had happened. Once he'd had a kind of chance to decompress that night before, his body was just gone, and that's when he didn't shoot the best. I mean, he didn't shoot an awful score on Saturday, but everybody else was shooting lower scores, and that's when he kind of fell out of contention. But now again, like I said, he's back in it. Today's tournament is really the last tune-up before the U.S. Open, the third major of the year. Going to be here in North Carolina at Pinehurst. This Joxx course, Muirfield Village, is always considered a U.S. Open type venue. Obviously, one of the top courses in the world, and obviously arguably the greatest of all time is it's his baby, the one he's put probably the most love and care and design aspects into. And what's Scotty going out there doing? He's got a 3-shot lead going into the weekend. So he's.
He said we're breaking up. He just texted me and said he's taking us off. Get off for a second. He said he can't hear Tom at all for some reason. I don't know why. So everyone, shut your laptops down. If we're having internet.
That's what I was gonna think, that with all these other laptops on there, it's kind of, we don't really need those.
We got multiple. I got another internet. We can get on this.
I've got my phone, so I'm good.
Yeah, you need to look up something to do on the phone.
You just want different shots?
Plug this in.
Now, was that just online only? Could he hear us on radio? That's why I took us off the radio. We were breaking up. Oh, I'm gonna give y'all some. Alright. Tech going. Let's see if I can get reconnected on my end. JP, bring me that little radio. Everybody says they got internet till you get there, don't they, Tom? Yeah. Zach, why don't you check on breakfast?
Bathroom in the back? You make me laugh.
Hey, they usually do 2 eggs. Everybody, it's usually 2 eggs, biscuit gravy, and meat, like you said. Y'all want scrambled eggs? Is that what y'all want?
That's fine. I'm good with that. Yeah, that sounds delicious.
No round eggs or bagels right now. Let's see what happens.
This takes a lot.
Be creative. So, show that green, fairway, whatever. Just kind of get a good shot with that camera. You can kind of go anywhere you want with it.
I got one area, and then I'll
All right,
Probably get a good. I don't know
looks
how
like
far.
I'm running now. JP, look up the Wi-Fi password here and try to find something to write that down. Text that to everybody so everybody can get their computers on that one. Don't worry about that. All right, I think we're okay right now. I think everybody hears us online. I think we're good. Folks, we're having some technical difficulties. I'm checking audio. We'll be right with you.
Check, check, check.
Check, 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 check. Check, check. Check, check, check. Check, check. Check, check, check. Check, check, check.
That's what it says.
That's the password to this for you to put on your computer.
Okay.
Kind of an interesting password.
All right, good morning back, folks. We got us one ready over there, JP. You hear me?
Well, I mean, I had the microphone. I can't hear you all, but I mean, hey. Welcome back to Saturday Morning Sports Show. Kevin, Zach, Tom, Terry, Chip, and JP.
JP, I asked you, can you hear it on the radio? Not to talk. We good?
There we go.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're gonna turn that down. Sorry, we got the feedback because we're listening here at Deerbrook today. Good morning, everybody. We should be loud. That sound better on that. No, I was turning my wrong knob. Let's see if we can get everybody going. Tom, you over there?
Check, check. Can you hear me? We're here.
Try it again. Keep
All right.
talking. For some reason, Tom's low. We would never have to turn him up.
Yeah, I know. It's rare. Usually during a broadcast too.
It's almost. It is. Well, Tom, you might want to just keep that headset with you.
Yeah.
And that would be the Tom Senafani headset.
We'll get bronzed.
We don't need to do
Well,
that.
I used my headset. I guess we can take a moment while you're finished setting up. Burns finished their season last weekend. Unfortunately, they come a little short to Green Central. They lose Friday night in a tight ball game, 2-0, and then they lost the Saturday matinee. They lost 8-5. So they lost in 2 straight. Still a great season for our guys. I think one of the main things they had is they made a couple errors at untimely moments in the game, and it cost them. But Green Central team, you got to give them a little credit. Top of their lineup, I think the leadoff hitter was hitting 660, and the number 2 guy was hitting 580, and they also had a pretty good pitcher who threw on Friday. So a really good Green Central team. So congratulations to our guys who are Western North Carolina champions, state runner-ups. So just a great season for our baseball boys, and they'll be back. They're losing a couple seniors. I think they lose 3 seniors, I think, and everybody else is coming back. So they've got a good chance to make another run at it next year.
Well, last week in NASCAR, this week we're in Sonoma, so it's wine country. This week. Last week was at Worldwide Technology Raceway. So Terry, we're on the road course part of the schedule. Let's see next week what's coming up in the next week or so. We've got Iowa, New Hampshire, and Nashville. They gave Kyle Larson the waiver. Terry, you okay with that?
Yeah, I guess. I'm not going to complain.
Okay.
Well, you need a waiver because he didn't qualify?
No.
No.
So he did the. He was doing the Indy 500.
Right.
double.
Right.
Well, NASCAR, you need a you need a, if you miss a race for a reason, you need a waiver to make the playoffs.
Oh.
Larson already has a win. He's first in points. He flew back for the race, and he didn't get to race because of the rain out.
Okay.
And so there's a big controversy. Some are saying he shouldn't get to race because he chose another sport as opposed to NASCAR. My point of it was, well, he was there. He was just late to the race.
Yeah.
And so NASCAR ends up giving him a waiver for that. It's their first non-injury waiver, and it's been a big issue for some of the folks. So I know you weren't here last week. What are your thoughts on that, giving him the waiver?
Well, it's just kind of the way our society is. Everybody gets a waiver for everything, right? I mean, you miss 20 days of school, you get a waiver, no big deal. We don't have, if you want to ask me, we don't have rules in society. We have suggestions. If you do not follow the rule, then, well, we'll find a way around it. And I really do think that I understand why the other guys are upset, but it sounds like he was there. He didn't get to race because of the rain, so it's more complicated than that. But at the same time, like, what do you want to do? Do you want to race, NASCAR? Do you want to race IndyCar? Do you want to do Formula One? What do you want to do? And that's, even 10, 15 years ago, you had kids. Well, I want to play soccer, but I want to miss 2 days a week because I want to do something else. It's like, well, what do you want to do? We don't want to tell people no anymore. We don't want to make people choose.
I think if the NASCAR wasn't getting the publicity off of it, it would have been a lot different decision possibly. If he was doing something not the Indy 500, they might not have given him a waiver on
but
that.
But didn't Robbie Gordon do something like this back in the 90s?
Tony Stewart.
Yeah.
Tony Stewart did
Tony
it.
Stewart, yeah.
And
so there's other guys that have done it.
Not, the one perspective I'll differ with you on your point, Tom, is this was always deemed as like the marathon day for a race car driver. It wasn't necessarily that I want to go do IndyCar. It's not they want to join the IndyCar series. It's the unique. It's the elevated status of the Indy 500 and being able to do that along with on the same day as the longest race of the NASCAR season, being able to do both. It's kind of the marathon event or the Ironman event or the Ironman day for race car drivers.
Well, then give everybody a pass. What if I'm a NASCAR driver and I want to run in the Boston Marathon? I'm gonna miss a day. So okay.
That was my point. If it was something else, that was my only point about it. If they wasn't getting the publicity,
everybody gets a pass one day.
And
I'm
not against him going up and racing. I think it's good to have a NASCAR guy go into that.
That's my difference. The Boston Marathon is not a car. It's not an automobile race.
But you're not there. What's it matter?
Right,
you're not there. You're not.
That's what Tom's saying. If it's a rule,
If it's a rule, it's a rule. If it's not the rule, what I'm saying is it's like cell phones in school. It's a rule, but it's not a rule. So make a rule.
Yeah.
If it's not going to be enforced, don't have it.
That I agree with. That's fair.
It makes it worse. Like when you have a rule and then it doesn't matter. What does that say about all the other rules? And I think that's kind of where we're going, not just in NASCAR.
Yeah.
That's where we're going in everything. Like we have these rules, and we hope people follow them. But if they don't, then we'll find a way around it. No.
Yeah.
It's not fair to the other kid, in my opinion. It's not fair to the other kids. So my opinion is you're not going to enforce it. Get rid of the attendance rule.
I understand that.
Get rid of it.
We had a college professor at Gardner Webb when I was a student, and he gave a hypothetical. He's like, all right. He said, what if back in the day we had a residence hall advisor who walked into a dorm room, and there was a young man and a young woman. The young man's sitting on the couch. The young woman's sitting in a chair across the room, and they're having a Bible study. What's the rule there? And we're like, well, okay. And he says it's like, let's say it was like he's saying it's like at 10 o'clock at night. And he's like, oh, we don't. Seems like nothing's wrong there. We give him a warning. No, that student, that young man, because he was in a female dorm, he wasn't allowed. He's going to be expelled. Or at least there's going to be some kind of form of punishment for that.
The rules are rule.
Yeah. What I would say, and this puts NASCAR's enforcement puts egg on their face because of it. If nothing else, I think a compromise to honor what you're saying, and which I agree with, and also I think Zach's in my point of the recognition of what other drivers, Robbie Gordon, Tony Stewart, have done in the past. If you're going to put a amendment or a loophole for this one event, okay, that needs to be on the books, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would just say anything. It's like, you know, what I would just tell NASCAR is, all right, if you're going to give everybody a pass, give them a pass, no makeup. All right, you missed the race, you missed the points, you don't get any of that, you miss again, then you can't race in the playoffs. Just put it down. It's just like in school, I'd say no attendance policy, don't worry about it. Yeah. But guess what? If you don't show up for a test, you can't make it up. Yeah. That's the way it was when I was in college. You missed test day, too bad. Best you could make now is a C. Yeah. Sorry, kid. And we don't want to talk.
Different story. If you had to take an exam, everybody had to take it.
Right.
There wasn't no question.
Right.
And to me, I don't mean this in a bad way, and I know a lot of kids are going to say, ooh, boom on him. I think that's how it should be. I don't think if you have a high grade that you ought to be able to skip a test. I don't think it should be. I mean, that's just me. And you know, a lot of times we run into problems like that, but, you know.
At the very least, that shouldn't be assumed. If that's something that the teacher in that class wants to offer as a perk or whatever in terms of their establishment, that's fine. But as a student, don't go into it assuming I've got a good grade so I don't have to worry about this. That's entitlement at that point.
Exactly. And that's what you run into, because the problem is when you come down to it, every student asked about their days. Hey, man, I was here this day. I didn't miss this class. I didn't do this.
And the point we're getting is an entitlement society we build in schools.
Yes.
Transfers to the real world.
Yeah.
This is where all these people have,
including NASCAR.
Including NASCAR. It's
well,
it's like I'm entitled. Now I can. There's a rule, but it doesn't apply to me, because if you want to install something in people, install it from when they're little, right? Then they grow up with it. Yeah. Then they go out in the real world, and you wonder why people are acting the way they are. And why are NBA players skipping games? You know, well, you know, why do people like take extended? You know, like, well, I'm kind of in a bad place, so I'm just not going to play basketball for 6 months. Yeah. You know, it's this kind of where we're going, and it's I think it's just this generation is taught this when they're kids, and then I grow up and be a big person. Well, then nothing applies to me. Rules don't apply to me anymore. So why are we surprised when we see this in NASCAR, in basketball, in football, where these guys don't honor the rules and get away with it all the time? Why are we surprised? I mean, we shouldn't be surprised.
I just had the problem with him leaving his team that he is making his money with behind and saying, I'm going to do the Indy 500 first. And everybody has their opinions on that.
Well, and here's my thing, and y'all corrected me previously. So I got confused. I hadn't followed the story as closely, but I got confused because y'all say he had a substitute driver to start the race.
No. That's it. No. Like, correct. There shouldn't be any substitute. Anything.
But that's historically been something that NASCAR's always done. If a driver got sick, I remember Richard Petty, the king, the greatest of all time. I remember a race. He got sick, so they had to.
Somebody else can race, but Richard Petty shouldn't get the points. That's the way they do it.
But the points are based on the race team, not on the driver.
Yeah, but that shouldn't be.
But it should be that the race driver must start the race.
I remember that used to be a rule.
Not get there at the end.
Okay.
All of a sudden, I'm gonna run 200 laps.
That's fair. I see that. That's fair, Terry. That's a good point.
Well, Terry, you might be able to answer this better than anybody. Historically, what are some of the reasons that they've had where drivers do end up switching during the race? Is because it's happened a ton in the past.
And I understand that. I mean, if I'm at a race and I start the race, then I'm going to get all the points that's credited. If I get sick or something along the way, and that's happened in NASCAR.
Or injuries.
Yeah.
Like Darrell Waltrip, I think, had to sub out one. Davey Allison had to sub out, I think, previously in the past.
And all they do is take them out, and a new driver goes in, and they taking care of him while the points and all keep going. But if I am a driver and I elect to do something else before I get here, and that's the reason they really gave him his waiver, is on account of he got into a helicopter, he drove there, flew there, he lands, he's there, he's ready to get in it, then they stopped the race. So, you know, that's why they gave it to him.
There's a complete difference, I think, in the reason, like what Terry just said, is the reason he got it is because he was there. He didn't skip, he was late. And it's not like he wasn't going to be there, wasn't coming, it was he was late. And a lot of people think that NASCAR made the wrong decision in calling the race, and whether it was NASCAR's decision or not, some people say it was Fox's decision. This is their last Fox race, and a lot of people are putting it on Fox and not the drivers, and a lot of the drivers were hinting at that in particular this week as far as that goes. So that a lot of controversy on that. Of course, we'll have the races and more here on KDC Broadcasting, folks. If we get kicked off and it starts playing commercials here on the radio, so we probably kicked a button or hit something here that we shouldn't have.
But we're at a new place, yeah.
Yeah.
We're trying everything.
So Zach, so today, folks, if you're watching, wondering where we're at, if online, we are out at Deerbrook Golf Club today. We're at Mulligan's Restaurant here, and Zach, Friday nights you come out and tell a little bit about what happens on Friday nights out here.
Scott Richards comes out from 7 to 10 for karaoke.
Well, hold on, JP, go get the camera and let's put it on the breakfast. You can leave it right there. We'll get to it in just a second during the break.
Thank you very much.
Breakfast has arrived.
Amy's got the morning shift today with us.
Okay.
Today.
Thank you, Amy.
With us on Friday night, so
That
she's
looks
doing
delicious.
Really, really good. Breakfast is gonna be fantastic. We got 2 eggs, scrambled bacon, biscuits, and gravy, and a drink for $10, guys.
Good gracious.
In today's time, you go try to find that. Chef Juan does a great job here. He's back there working hard this morning, cooking breakfast and stuff. Chef Juan also works a little bit, I believe, with the Shelby High School football team.
Oh, good.
So he might get to come out a little bit later when it slows down on him and maybe say hello to everybody. But like I said, on Friday night, Scott Richards comes out 7 to 10 for karaoke. I know on Tuesday nights they do Taco Tuesdays. They got some really, really fantastic tacos. Wednesday nights, Tom was asking about wings. Tom must like wings.
I'm a wing connoisseur.
They looked good last night. I'm not a huge wing fan, so I usually don't get those. They look really, really good. Look like they might have had a garlic herb. Somebody did. I'm sure they got about 4 different flavors.
You don't like chicken wings? What's wrong with you?
I like fried chicken.
I thought you were a
But
Zoom in tight on that food, JP. Get over on top of it.
They do. I believe
Let
it's
the
89-cent
let
wings.
the folks at home that are watching on YouTube smell how good that food is.
I think it's like 89-cent wings on Wednesday nights. On Saturday nights they do their steak night. They give a good steak special. Chef One does one of the best steaks. I said it's the best steak around here. I usually get the filet mignon. It is fantastic. Usually get a filet mignon, baked potato loaded with salad, and we just have a good time over here. They got a fantastic wait staff, and Wayne is always very good, the owner.
Hey, Zach,
taking care of us.
do they have shrimp and grits?
I haven't looked at the menu.
It's 8 Charleston.
We haven't looked at the menu. We're gonna have to check.
Tom shaking his head.
We're gonna have
We'll have to give Chef
we're
One
gonna
a
have
chance
to
if he can-
ask.
Are
if he
those
can incorporate
biscuits
that
and gravy, or are they bickets and gravy?
we're definitely gonna have to ask it as far as that goes.
They have a great time over here once a week and have a good crowd. Drink specials. I know they do buckets of beer, and they do really, really good. You got really good bartenders, and they take care of you very, very well. Once you're here for a couple of times, they remember your name and they remember exactly what you want. You can set your table and you get everything like it's clockwork.
Cool.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna take a break and enjoy our breakfast here. For just to say, the internet's always fun. I know you guys can't see it. I don't have a monitor hooked up, but this is a picture of a young lady putting a. Do you guys know who Robert Plant is?
Yes.
Terry?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've
Thanks,
seen
Tom.
that.
You know who Robert Plant is? It's old picture of Led Zeppelin's lead singer Robert Plant here, and it says, "Why can't I find a guy like this?" And it's a picture of him from the '70s. Looks a little bit different, but he responded, and he's an old man now. He said, "Hey," and she responded, "No." And he responded, "I'm literally the guy in the picture." And so Robert Plant, she gets a response and doesn't even know from one of the lead singers of one of the best rock and roll bands of all time. But we'll be back here in just a few minutes. We're going to take a quick break. Enjoy the breakfast here. Let me show you guys the breakfast. Did JP move the camera again? He did.
Yeah.
He did. But all right, so it's all right. We're going to go to commercial here in just a second, folks. When we come back, we got Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA finals to talk about, and more on KDCBroadcasting.com.
morning. Trying to get some shots at the golf course and talking with the chef. But we're doing well, and everybody's still talking more sports as I'm trying to get things at the golf course.
JP, just hand the chef there the microphone. We'll bring him on over here, and you can put the camera on him if you will, JP.
Thank you.
Come on over. Come on over.
Chef Juan.
Chef Swan, here, give your full name and everybody. Turn around. JP's going to have the camera. Okay. Well, you can stand right there. JP, we're good right now. I'll put it on this camera. Don't worry about it. I'll just put it on this one. All right, Juan, tell us a little about what we guys are doing for
items. We got one called the trash can, where we offer a biscuit, scrambled eggs, or any egg of your choice. And we also do a side of meat, bacon, liver mush, sausage, anything like that. And we also have a 2 biscuit and gravy plate that you can also get. But also as well, we also have sandwiches, pretty much any sandwich you want. Yeah. Doing breakfast.
Now, Zach comes out here on Friday nights, and so you guys do some karaoke, right?
We do.
And Zach comes out there and brings his kids and everything, and he likes the steak night. He, on Saturday night says there's a good deal on Saturday. So you got a good deal on Saturday for steak, karaoke on Friday. Tell the folks a little bit about what you do with the food and everything on Friday and Saturday.
On Friday nights, we have what we call a fish platter, where you get 2 pieces of flounder, your choice of shrimp, or you can get all flounder, or you can get all shrimp. It's just your choice, where you can get popcorn shrimp or jumbo shrimp. Okay. The jumbo shrimp is actually, it has changed since last night. Okay. We've seasoned it ourselves now instead of just doing it, with the breader. But we season it ourselves. You get hush puppies and fries on the fish platter, but we also have a wide range on our menu. We have a luau chicken. You can also get a steak. You can also get multiple pastas. Awesome. So we have a wide range on our menu.
So there's nothing you can't cook.
There's nothing I can't cook. You name it, I got you.
So one here, Tom. His son plays basketball for me this fall. In the winter, he was on my All-Star team. I didn't have him on the regular season team.
Yeah.
But he's on my baseball team this spring, and I've got to pat him on the back while he's here. I didn't know he was a cook. Now we know what we're going to do for the party. we having a swim party, and Juan's going to cook us up something good on the spot.
You know what? Honestly, for the past couple banquets that the football team, because I coach football for the city park, and for the past couple banquets that we've had, I've done the cooking.
Yeah, so. You're going to be with Shannon said, yeah, he plays cards. I said, really? I said, awesome.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Shannon and someone else, and then Jay got brought up about the football, and he said, yeah, he played quarterback. I said, that's fantastic. But super athlete, y'all.
His son?
His boy. I haven't seen him play football. I can't even comment on that. But basketball, and when I talk, and the kids that can dribble young are the ones.
You talking? Kevin works with the youth. Juan works with the youth. Terry, that's Chip over there. Terry and
Chip works with youth. He's got 9 kids.
I work with the youth. I lose church and stuff like that. It's important to work with the youth in a day's time and to get them out on the field,
right?
And to get them off the tablets and the phones. So our kids will be able to play the games. Me and Kevin talk about this a lot of times. When we were coming up, we seemed like we were a lot more developed when we got into the sports that are for the city and stuff.
Well, I'll ask you real quick. We talked last week. How often do you see kids now driving by? You see them out playing in the driveway pickup ball. That used to be our thing, all the time, and I hardly ever see kids nowadays.
I mean, outside was our go-to. Like, we didn't want to stay in the house. We wanted to get outside when I was younger. We didn't have phones. We didn't have tablets, and what was on the TV wasn't interesting because it was either the news or stories.
Yep.
So we did not want
Entertainment Tonight or Hard Tom, there used to be a commercial on TV that said, "Do you know where your kids are?"
Right.
At 10 o'clock,
right.
So let me talk quick about Jay the other day. So he's never played baseball until this year. And he
never played basketball until this year.
Really?
This was his first year.
Right. Now that blows my mind because he's so good. He's so good at that. So he's a natural athlete. So in baseball, we've got so many subs. I've got to put people at different spots. So I put him at third, knowing he's a good athlete. And Tom, they hit a high chopper to short. And I swear, if Jay don't cut it off like Scott Rowland and just swing it over to first, and I looked at the other coach, I said, I didn't teach him that. I didn't tell him to do that. And then he's made a couple of those plays that naturally third baseman you don't even that you have to teach and tell them what to do. And after he made it, I said, "Come here, come here, come here." He said, "Did I mess up, Coach?" I said, "No, no, no." I said, "I just want to hug and kiss you right now." I said, I didn't even showed you that. It's like one of the best plays I've ever seen a little leaguer make, and you've not been told it. So he's a naturally instinctive athlete, and he sees the ball, gets the ball, and that's one thing you can't teach. And I love having him on the team because of that. And he wants to play every position. He asked to pitch the other day. After like 3 weeks ago, he said he didn't want to, so I put him on the back end, and he goes, "Coach, can I pitch?" I was like, "Give me a minute." So I'm gonna try to squeeze him in if I can.
That comes from. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. That comes from me just sitting at home, messing with him, talking to him, trying to tell him, "Hey, don't be scared. Like, just don't be scared of it." And I played third base, played shortstop, played outfield,
that's where he's getting.
And I played at the city park. His mom played fast pitch softball.
Yeah.
So, and she was very, very talented at it. Fast.
She's tall. I figured she's an athlete.
Yeah. So, like, he gets it natural. He gets it natural.
Situational awareness is genetic, we're finding out, basically.
No,
And then there's some things you can't teach, Kevin, like you were saying, like it's instinctive.
Yeah.
No, he cut that ball off. I jumped up. I was so excited when he don't even know it. Just
we also practice outside of practice, so there you go.
Kevin, I think we need to
But he plays 3 sports, and that's another thing. On real quick, a lot of kids that don't do, and he does play them all. Go ahead, Chip.
No, I was just going to say, I think once got us our morning talk show official shirt right here. I love it. It says, "I never argue."
Everybody loves the
I just
shirt.
explain why I'm right. I think
We need to get Terry and Tom.
Everybody loves your shirt.
One, I used to tell people, if I'm arguing with you, you know you're wrong. Because I'm not wasting my time arguing over something I'm wrong about. So if I'm arguing with you, you know you're wrong. But we got to get out of here. Juan, thanks for
I appreciate you, gentlemen.
so much.
Appreciate you, gentlemen.
He's got to
Thank
do
you.
work to do.
Yeah,
So
we
let's waste
Gotta
his
go
time.
pick some more trash cans.
Appreciate it.
There you go. Let me grab that one.
That's the best tasting trash can I've ever had.
Yeah.
So I feel like Oscar the Grouch.
So Zach, explain what he's talking about, the trash can breakfast. What's it? What is
So it's two eggs any way you want them. One meat, whatever you decide on your meat, and you get your biscuit and gravy, and you get your drink, and I believe it's $10. So in today's economy, go try to find that, and it's very, very good. You guys are eating it, and they give you plenty of food.
You can't hardly find any adult meal anymore, $10 and under at all.
No.
Wherever you go, it's gotten insane with some of the prices. But welcome back everybody to Saturday Sports Talk. Let's talk a little baseball time.
Baseball,
Talking baseball. So, the Cardinals are making a mad dash up the standings in the Central. Now, Tom, when you're the shiniest, whatever. So we got. Let's see. We were second for a little bit. We're tied for second. Only one team. Let's count the National League. 1, 2, 3, 4 teams in the National League guys that are over 500 as we speak.
It's it's both of them.
Wow.
Keep going. I'll try to find the stat here I saw earlier this week in terms of the haves and the have-nots are quite separate this year in Major League Baseball. There's only 11 clubs total with a record over 500, 7 in the American League, and then to your point, Kevin, only 4 in the National League.
Kevin, you was talking about your Cardinals. That is a very competitive division at this point right here.
Mm-hmm.
It's competitively awful.
Well, I mean, but the good thing for you guys is you're still in. I mean, like everybody's in that. Like, I mean,
It's like the NSC South of the
That's fair.
Major League Baseball.
They're 500.
Yeah.
Well, so the Brewers are in first in the Central. Phillies and Braves in the East. Zach, are Braves going to be able to catch them? I mean, you still got 100 games, so it's not like that's 8 games isn't too far out of the stretch of imagination.
Well,
but are the Phillies going to run away from you guys?
Look at the only team in the league to have losses under 20 is the Phillies. But again, you have talked about last couple of weeks that their schedule has been conducive to have a really, really good season. So maybe they'll get into a hard point of the schedule. Maybe we'll get into a little easier point of the schedule, and we can kind of bring that gap. 8 games is a pretty good bit, though.
But have the Phillies and the Braves played each other much?
They've played each other, and I don't think we've fared very well.
Okay.
Lately when we play the Phillies, we don't really play very well.
That's the best way you're
against
going to
those
make
guys.
up that gap quickest.
Yeah. So
If they've had such an easy schedule, you're going to have to be one of the teams that makes their schedule challenging.
and being without our number one pitcher and our best player,
Yep.
you know, that's we're behind the 8 ball already. But we got a good team, and we know that one player doesn't make a team in baseball. It ain't like basketball, like we've talked about. So I think we field a good team, and we'll be in the playoffs. We'll be competitive. We'll just see what happens this year.
I guess I can't talk if my mic's not on. We're looking over in the American League standings right now. Well, we got Yankees in first in the East, tied 3.5 over Baltimore. Red Sox are 500, 12.5 back. Out west, Seattle is up 5 on the Rangers, who are under 500. And then in the Central, we've got 3 teams over 500. You guys mentioned the Twins were favorites before the season, but the Guardians and Royals have been in a little dogfight here, and we've got some texts going back and forth this week. I don't know what's going on with it in the American League Central, but Tom, you guys are in first. I'll let you take the lead on the Central report.
Yeah, they've been a little pedestrian here lately, 5-5 in their last 10. They got beat by the Marlins last night. That's not a good loss. Split with the Royals. So, I mean, you know, a lot of people are talking like the last time they started this well, every time they started this well, they've gone to the World Series. I'll always come back to this. It's like you got to hit to get there. You know what I mean? You got to hit. Do you have enough hitters? And I'm not sure they have enough hitters to go up against a Yankees team. You know, we'll see. I mean, their young pitching staff is like well ahead of schedule. Like I think all their starters are in their 20s, you know, and no Bieber this year. You know, Kwan's been out, so I mean they've had some injuries too, but they've just done a great job. What they had, what are we about 60 games into it, right? We're about a third of the way into it.
62 to be exact for the Guardians.
We'll see. It gets to be a grind in the summertime, so we'll see. Kansas City kind of in the same boat, aren't they, Terry?
Yeah, we are. I mean, I don't know. Last night was very impressive to me. Seattle jumped out on us 7-0, and then Kansas City come back and beat them 10-9. You know, so good win last night. There for a while, I was like, Cleveland's going to win and Kansas City going to lose. Are we going to lose another game? But that's not how it ended up. But good win for Kansas City last night. Bobby Witt doing one heck of a job playing shortstop and hitting both ways. But, you know, like when we played Cleveland, it was 1-1. And I get this little text saying, yeah, we gave y'all that one with a few more words to it. And I'm like, well, Tom, on my end, they call it a win. You know, so, you know.
There's 162 of them, so it's going to be a long season.
And, you know, Tom, it comes down to one of them things. How many times can you win the one-run games? And I haven't went back and looked at either one of us, but are you above 500 on them games? Because that can cost you or hurt you during the whole season, you know.
I think it's the Yankees to lose, though. I mean,
they're very talented.
I think it's the Yankees.
Very
to lose,
talented.
So we'll see if anybody can really stand toe to toe with them. What are they at? 45 wins. 40 something wins. 45 wins. So Cleveland's at 40 wins. Kansas City about 36, aren't they?
We're at 36.
Yeah,
and see, when I'm
36,
looking at us, I keep saying, can we hang around the Dodgers? So you go down here to the Dodgers, they're 40-25. We're 38-26. So if we can hang around the Dodgers, we're going to succeed.
Do you remember what your win total was last year, Terry, or close?
Oh, Lordy. That was the worst. Well, no.
You and Oakland was bad, right?
Yep. It was the second worst in Kansas City history.
Okay, so
there you go.
have you surpassed your win total at this point? Do you think?
No, not yet. We got another 14 wins, and we'll surpass it.
Okay,
You
well,
know?
a lot better season this year than last year, and
It's where you at when July the 4th comes.
Yeah.
Are you being competitive when July the 4th and the All-Star break comes, or are you not?
Well,
you know.
You say that, Terry, but then you go. I look at 2 years ago. The Yankees were on a historic pace with their record. I mean, people thought that the American League was basically, or at least the rankings for the American League playoffs were set at the All-Star break, and then had a historic first half, and they had a historic second half for all the wrong reasons and collapsed, and that carried over into next year as well. To Tom's point, obviously New York's playing, and record-wise, they have the most wins of any team in baseball right now, and have the best record in the American League. My concern with them is the teams that they need to beat, specifically the Orioles, and this weekend the Dodgers. They didn't start out well with that last night. Now, it was a close game. They were scoreless going into extra innings pretty much, and then L.A. pulled out the win 2-1 in the 11th inning.
Well, everybody kept asking when's he going to put Soto in, and he never did.
Yeah, and I think they're trying to – fortunately, we got good news with Soto. He had some forearm soreness a couple days ago, and they did some MRIs, X-rays, or whatever they did, and found out yesterday was good news. There was no structural damage. It looks like it was just inflammation. So they're trying to be day-to-day with him. And to Tom's point, it's a long season. I don't know right now if a game in June, if you want to try to push the envelope. We care much more about Soto being able to beat the Dodgers in October than we do necessarily in June or July. Now, in our lineup, obviously, Soto and Judge, I would say, almost without argument, have been the best 1-2 punch in baseball, what they've been able to do for each other. Judge got off to a slow start. My concerns have been washed away. He had a historic May, a phenomenal month of May. But the thing that's carried the Yankees has been their pitching staff. Without their Cy Young Award-winning ace, their pitching staff has pitched historic. They set a record, I think, 15 straight games. A starter went 5+ innings, giving up 2 runs or less. I mean, that had never been done before. And Luis Gil, who had last year was sat out with Tommy John surgery, he looks like he could be the All-Star game starting pitcher for the American League. I think he's 8-1 right now. He's one of the top teams in. Looks like we got a shotgun start heading out on the golf tournament. We've got a dozen golf carts heading down 18 fairway right now, but yeah, you got Gil. Looks like I think he's 8-1, one of the better ERAs in the majors right now. He's finally got a changeup to go with his high octane fastball that's really keeping batters off balance. If he continues to pitch, the question for him is he's never gone a full season. If he can continue to pitch this way the second half, or even some semblance of it in the second half, along with the team getting the best news they've got in terms of health-wise, Garrett Cole made his first rehab start earlier this week. He's going to probably make 2 more. You add him into the mix. He's healthy, and he's pitching like Garrett Cole should pitch. Gil continues to pitch at some manner the way he's pitching now. Carlos Rodon has looked entirely different than what he pitched last year. That's 3 pitchers right there that are going to be very difficult for a team to beat in a 5 or 7 game series. So I'm excited about that if their offense comes around. I thought they needed another arm. The Yankees needed another arm. Y'all heard me pleading multiple weeks here in the offseason about them signing Blake Snell. So far, I'm a little hesitant because, again, I remember 2 years ago how good they played the first half. So far, this team looks like it's geared up for the playoffs. But again, it's June. We're not Red Sox fans. We don't celebrate this record in June.
That's a shot. That's a shot across bow. So that's our Major League Baseball. And like I said, it's going to be a long season, but I tell you what, it's good to be relevant, isn't it, Terry?
Well, it is. I mean, to be talking about us is a great thing. And when you look at it, everybody knows you're going to be talking about the Yankees and Orioles.
Right.
Up there at the top. And Cleveland and Kansas City, a surprise this year. And don't forget Seattle down here. Even though Kansas City beat them last night, Seattle is 5 games up on Texas, defending champions. So
as of right now, Terry, Kansas City is 4.5 games up on the Twins for the last wild card spot in the playoffs. So there you go. You've got the Guardians and the Royals and a little team in New York that are all going to make that at this point if the season ended or the regular season ended right now. Yeah,
only 1/3 of the way.
That's a key.
A little bit more than the third of the
key
way.
differentiator. And to Terry's point, let's see where everybody is at the All-Star break.
All right, we got. I'm gonna go through some news. So the tweets will be fun. Tweets will be a little bit different this week. So folks, we'll be back in the studios next week. We're actually remodeling the studios right now. WCSL Studios in Cherryville, North Carolina. We're gonna be out here about once a month on Saturday, sometimes twice, depending on the weather and what happens. But coming up, we're gonna start probably this week, maybe on Wednesday. The Shock Joxx daily report will be podcast is going to start back up sometime live around 11 daily Monday through Friday. Wednesdays and Thursdays will be either Shannon Allen and Will Boykin. Zach's going to be on Fridays, and then we got to fill in some Monday, Tuesday with some volunteers with some of the guys. that have time will come back. And so we're going to have a daily sports update for you here on YouTube coming up in the next few weeks. Hopefully, we're going to try to start Wednesday. I got to clear some things with Will and Shannon, but after that, we'll be going. Zach and I will be here on Fridays, doing this same thing for you folks. Can tune in on Fridays, and the next Saturday we'll be back in the studios in Cherryville. I do got some fun tweets, but I don't think I have sound with it. Maybe, but we'll see. I don't think I do. I don't think I've got that. So basically, be reading some information for you guys as opposed to what we normally do for the fun tweets. And I got a little video the guys can't see, but we'll have it set up next time. Let's go through some baseball stuff. First of all, for you folks at home, you can see. And if you folks on the radio, like, what are you talking about? What do you can see? This show's live every Saturday on YouTube, on the KTC Broadcasting Channel. This is a minor league team, guys, that went, those new LED lights now at the fields and stuff that they have. Well, you can install, believe it or not, in one of those light bulbs, a black light. So this baseball team, Tom, went black light baseball. Played at night under the lights. We got a neon green team and a neon pink team. The ball is yellow, or yellow, whatever you want to call it, for you folks here in the South. But pretty cool to look at. Terry, you can see it a little bit there, can't you?
I can see a little.
What do you think about that? Would you want to umpire that?
Might as well.
You see just the same in the dark. I got a better excuse in the dark, don't you? Well, guys, like, it's dark out here. How do you think I could say? Of course I blew that call.
Hey, but Kevin, if they ask him for an interpretation on something, he's not going to answer.
Well,
It's not. It's an umpire judgment.
You can 100% forget that. Let's see.
He's going to have to call. We're going to have to call Tom, and we're going to talk to Tom over the speakerphone for him to get his interpretation.
My God. Thank you, Tom, for throwing me
A
under
yes
the
or
bus
no
last
question
week.
there. You weren't thrown under any bus.
Just refer back to Chef One Shirt.
So, Martin Maldonado. Anybody know this guy for the White Sox?
Catcher, used to catch for the Astros. He was Garrett Cole's personal catcher for a while.
So his batting average is so low.
How low is it?
He wouldn't be able to pass the North Carolina blood alcohol level.
Yes.
.079 is his batting average. He was still under the legal limit, Tom.
It's really bad.
We're very proud.
You've heard of the Mendoza line. Have you ever heard of the blood alcohol line? But Martin Maldonado.
We'll call it the Maldonado
Zero.
line.
Yeah, I was about to say.
0.
Oh, no, I like the blood alcohol line.
79. That's pretty bad, y'all. Let's see. This is Coastal Carolina's coach going off about the name, image, likeness on that. Let's see. Can't because I don't got video. Terry, this is the NC State game. Y'all probably lost, but this isn't what they're showing. This dude gives up the bomb. Now watch the pitcher get the ball back from the umpire or his catch. Watch his catch. Whoop.
Oh, yeah.
Behind the
Looks
back.
like he's done that before.
That's a pissed off pitcher, ain't it, Terry?
Yes.
But he was not a.
Well, I mean, I'm going to tell you something else. So as we speaking of that, and I know we're not going to get into college baseball, but congratulations to the ACC right now.
Yes.
I mean, Florida State won yesterday. Virginia won last night.
Carolina
won.
walk off.
Honeycutt.
Down by one going into the
Yep.
ninth and tied it up with a home run, and then Honeycutt with the walk off.
Yeah, his 62nd of the year.
Yeah.
You
He's
know,
the-
his total in Carolina history.
What did I say? He's the first ACC player with 60-plus home runs and 70-plus stolen bases?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome.
Sure is.
That's
but
incredible.
and today, State and Clemson get into action. Their matchup, State plays Georgia at 12 noon today. So we'll see how this goes.
Right.
ACC looking good. I'd love to see 5 ACC teams in the final 8.
The NCAA placed an SEC team in all 5 regionals hosted by ACC teams. Wolfpack, Tar Heels, Seminoles, Cavs, and Clemson went 15-1
Wow.
against those opponents, Terry. So
I just got a text. The committee is saying Florida State's no longer eligible for the for the World Series.
They've been kicked out. I got a bunch of audio and stuff, but we can't do it here today, so we'll do some of that next week. this is a quick. I know you guys can't see it a little bit, but I'm going to show you. This is a quick video here of Terry, like Luis Reyes, showing how short his swing is. I don't know if you folks can see this at home, but good hitting isn't about how hard you swing. It's making contact with the ball that's there, and a lot of people, I guess, they get confused with golf. Or, the driver, you sit back and rock. And the Cardinals have a player in minor leagues. We talked about this last year, Jordan Walker, who had like a 16, 17 game hitting streak, and they sent him to the minors because he don't hit it in the air. This year, the same thing happened. Started the season, he hasn't hit a home run this year until this week in the minors. And now they're like, well, maybe we can bring him up now. You know when he's batting in the minors? Like 430.
Wow. It's just.
But like, Terry, at what point do we quit looking at these analytics and be like, hey, the 6'5" guy that rips the ball, maybe we should let him play a little bit. And he started the season in center field. He was about like 230 or 240, and they took him out. And I just don't.
Launch
I don't
angle
understand
and
that.
velocity.
But watch Arias here. Like, it's just he waits to the almost very last second. I mean, it's almost Terry. It almost looks fake, is how late he swings, don't it? And he's still pulling it. Boom. Just beautiful. All right, let's see if I got any more before we move on. Terry, do y'all have any updates as far as the College World Series? Yeah, we got a shot. We got somebody coming in on 18 on our first. These are our morning guy.
He had I didn't know if you wanted me to interrupt that.
Yeah,
or
go ahead.
anything.
You do some play-by-play, Chip. What we got? We're about 100 yards out here.
So we had a gentleman who he had his drive looked like it had gone right into the rough, and tried to force it onto the green. Ended up in the water. But gentleman was in the middle of the fairway. Hit a beautiful approach shot. He's about 10 feet right below the hole. Pretty putt.
Is it
right
staying there?
Yeah, no, it's sat. I mean, he barely cleared the water, but he got away with it, and it looked very nice. So
it looks like one of them holes on number 18. If you hit it too deep into the hole, you got a downhill slope coming back to the
look there. You see,
flag.
there's a ball up on that second tier you're talking about, Terry. And that putt
I'm worried
is,
about the water.
Yeah,
Terry,
slick on that one.
I'm going to explain something to you. That might be the most unfair green in North Carolina.
That's
Chip,
Okay.
Chip, you play out here much? Yeah,
it's been a while, but it's
so this hole where he's at is probably not his drive. Is that what you were saying, Chip?
no, that's got to be his second.
Right. So we're hitting our.
Oh, you're talking. This
is his third.
Yeah, that's
shot.
probably his
And
third.
that is in the water. Almost hit the owl on the front of the green.
Yeah.
So basically, this green, Terry, you see that big hill, you guys can see the hump from up here. That hump affects the whole green. It doesn't matter where you're at, where they put that hole on it. If you can get the ball to stay on your second shot, you can get it to stay, you're not one putting this green. In fact, if you're on that top part, Terry, you're right. You can putt in the water here because if you hit that hump of any part, look, this guy, he's like, I don't know what I'm gonna have to do.
The dude below the green has got the best. Yeah. His approach was phenomenal.
Oh, he's good. That guy up top here, he's about to have to putt left.
Yeah.
40 feet and let it come all the way
this
back
This is like a putt course for him.
Let's see if he reads it. We'll give the credit. Chip, go down and tell him what he's doing wrong. That wouldn't start an argument at all.
I got a feeling we just stayed.
Man, I need to borrow Chef Juan's shirt real quick and walk down there.
You boys put your keys in your pocket, so I'm gonna go down there and talk to them, tell them what they're doing wrong. I'll go down and read it for them. Chip, I was wanting to do maybe a little putt reading exhibition for some of the folks out here. Maybe me and you can walk there and see if this microphone works here.
Yeah.
In just a second. Here on the 18th.
Am I gonna be like
John's
Johnson?
gonna want to talk to you after you hit it in the water.
I'm gonna be
I'm
like
going to talk to them. Me and Chip will go. I'm talking. Me and Chip will go down ourselves.
I'm gonna be like Johnson Wagner and give the exhibition.
And give,
gentleman missed left, but actually stayed up on the slopes. Got a chip shot here.
So what's the tournament for today, guys?
I do not know. I didn't check. Okay. I do see some.
I know
That's a pretty shot right there. That's a good lead.
Fantastic shot.
That's a very good lead.
He doesn't know he just hit a good shot on YouTube right now. We're up here giving him the business. But it was a fantastic chip. Now here's the fun.
Yeah, this is the one.
This is the fun. JP, you got your radio on over there? Nod the camera up and down if you do. Maybe not.
I think he heard it. He's going.
All right, but he does have the.
Come around.
He's got
as long as he's got the camera.
He's going to take this off.
You hear us over there? Yeah, we're good.
He's going to take
Zoom
this
in
off.
a little bit over there.
He's going to take this off the slope. And
Going
let's see.
left. That's
He didn't hit it out far enough. It's going to come. Now watch it. It's got to settle.
Easy.
You know what? If he'd hit that a little harder, that might not have been a bad putt at all.
No, that was the right idea.
The angle was, we were right, Zach. The angle was probably close to right. He just didn't he didn't commit to going high enough with it.
Yep,
on the putt,
that was a good speed on that putt.
He didn't play it off
not
the-
speed.
But remember,
angle.
I said it's a tough hole to two
All right, I
putt
wanna
period. This is the one guy that's
This
got
is
a
the birdie
good
putt.
shot.
This
This
is
is the birdie putt.
This is the birdie chance right here, and he's got a good leave uphill.
This is exactly where you'd want.
Yeah, exactly.
On
No,
this
yeah.
on this green.
Yeah, this is the best putt on the green right here, and there's not a lot of turn in it.
But this is one where you're happy with par. The landing area on your drive is water left, trees right. And
the
so
putt. Did he
That's a
get
good
it there? Did he
putt.
get it
That's a good
there?
putt.
Oh, gosh!
No birdie.
That was a good putt.
No birdie on 18 here. So, all right, then you get some play-by-play action. This is going to be some good audio, and we get to do that one next week.
None of you actually have the golf whisper. You know, you guys are calling golf like it's basketball.
Well, that's true, and we are folks at home. We're not close. They can't hear us, but
Supposed to say
I do. It is. I always wonder where Nance. Do Nance and them sit like nowhere near any holes?
So-
or do they sit on the 18 and where some people can hear them? Because I wonder why they whisper if they're like back in the studio and nobody's near
So
them.
the tower guys like Nance and Faldo, or Nance and Trevor Immelman now, like for Augusta, and I can just use Augusta as an example.
Yep.
18 tower is right over the green.
Okay.
And like I have been in the gallery on 18, and I've heard Faldo talking up in the tower. Like I'm like, dude. And Shane Lowry one time said, talked about he was on 15 at Augusta, and the towers are right there on the green. Like Vern Lundquist's tower at 16 is right off the green. Like where the clip that Kevin showed the week after of Tiger's walking right off of 16 green to 17 tee, and Vern Lundquist was right there and shook his hand. So there, Shane Lowry a couple years ago, it was 2021. It was when there was limited patrons. So when there's limited patrons, you think it'd be quieter, but it's actually easier to hear individual voices because there's not that murmur of the entire gallery. So there were several guys that Shane Lowry. He hit a chip shot on 15, sculled it back into the pond in front of 15 green. He looked, and next thing you look up to the tower, he's like, "I can hear you up there." So you do have to be kind of mindful of that. Now the walking ones, like what Roger Maltby used to do, and David Faherty, Dottie Pepper is one that does that for CBS. They will walk along. Generally, they walk about, and Bones McCod, Phil Mickelson, and Justin Thomas's former caddy. They generally walk about a half a hole in front of the group they're following, so that they can watch each shot come in. And they also have someone with a miniature TV or a small screen TV that's following them, so they can see the feed of what the audience is watching, but then they can also give a live shot, and then they can inspect the tee shot or inspect where a ball, if it's in the rough, what the lie looks like, so forth and so on.
All right, well, folks, we've got some NBA finals to talk about. We've got some other NBA stuff to go over.
I want some more approach shots to talk about here in a little bit.
and more here coming up shortly. We've got, like I said, NBA finals, some other NBA news. We've got NFL news. The Panthers and their owner asking for money. We'll see if Zach's got enough in his pocket to help him out. Poor fella. And but we'll as soon as we come back, we'll talk about a little bit of all that and more here on KDCBroadcasting.com.
Located at 846 East Stagecoach Trail in Falston. And Stamey Cherryville FuneralHome.com. Located at 405 North Dixie Street in Cherryville.
This year celebrates the 100th anniversary of the Cleveland County Fair. Dates are set for September 26th through October the 6th. There will be plenty of great entertainment to help celebrate the 100th year, plus ride-offer rides. We'll be back again with over 40 rides. See the demolition derbies, the bands, magic acts, the livestock, and more. This year will be the biggest of all, so plan now to attend the 100th edition of the Cleveland County Fair, September 26th through October 6th. Buy tickets online at clevelandcountyfair.com.
Hey, we've got a phone number you need to write down. It's 704-898-3163. Again, 704-898-3163. That's the phone number for Minuteman Mechanical, Cherryville's heating and cooling experts. Veteran owned and operated by Grant Cliff. They feature quality craftsmanship with honest pricing. Keep warm in the winter and cool in the summer with one call. That's Minuteman Mechanical, 704-898-3163. Call for a free estimate today, online at MinutemanMechanical.com, and like them on Facebook, too.
Hey, we're back on Saturday Morning Sports Talk with Kevin and the gang. We're here on the Deerbrook Golf Course.
Jeez. Hold on, guys. Got to turn you on there. All right, JP. Thanks for that wonderful.
We're going to have to give him a sign.
We're at the Mulligan's restaurant here at Deerbrook today, and I know Wayne specifically told me and Kevin yesterday, and we forgot to mention it. I know he told me, and I told Kevin, he said, wanted to make sure that everybody knew that they were not a private.
Yes, this is a public course.
Yes.
Well, and yeah, not private restaurant or course, so you can come play. The course is beautiful. Course is one of people that play golf know it's one of the best around. If not the best around here in western North Carolina. The greens are always good, big greens. Now, they are undulating, so you do got some breaks. They're a little fast, so you do got to worry about that. It's a nice course. They used to play the Hooters Tour out here.
Yes.
And I actually came and watched one of them. It's pretty cool to watch them play and everything. So.
I had a former assistant pro when I worked at the Country Club of Asheville in the summers during when I was an undergrad at Gardner-Webb. I lived in Asheville. Or my parents live in Asheville, and so I would been the summer times I was back up there, and I'd worked in the bag room in the pro shop. One of our assistant pros was on that tour, and he talked about playing down here. I've said for years that this course is the best layout in Cleveland County.
Zach, but we're here real quick as far as the course goes. The pros aren't fans of the hilly courses, are they? anything with a hill, Tom. They want to play in Florida, and you know, I don't know, Chip. You know, you travel and stuff. You play golf in other places. So I go to the beach, it's all flat land, and then all the greens are peaked out upside down bowls to make you give you something. I hate that. I hate the peaked out. If I get that, if I see anything since they say we're gonna play it, it says peaked down, I try to refuse. Like if I don't have to, I'm like, guys, I'm just telling you, this is gonna be stupid if you go out here. Tom, I don't know if you're familiar with it. He likes to have his greens as upside down bowls. So if you miss the exact spot on the green you need to, it's off the green.
We're going to see that in a couple of weeks. It's not necessarily not just Pete Dye. We're going to see it in a couple of weeks at Pinehurst because Donald Ross is Pinehurst number 2 is known for known for that. This is a little.
Have you been to Pinehurst too?
I've never been to Pinehurst actually.
So,
my dad's played it once.
For some reason, I don't know. I think it was a championship weekend or something. Tom, I was out that way and I was like, well, I'm going to drive out to Pinehurst, and decided to walk it. And I happened to have flip flops on, which ended up being, I think, okay, decently. If you're not on the actual green part area and you're in the rough walking, it's nothing but sand.
It's hard pan. Yeah.
It's sand.
Yeah,
it's dirty sand. My feet were black. I need this for a minute, JP. No, you can take that. You can take that. But so just a warning, if you are going out there, don't wear good shoes.
Yes.
If you are going to wear sandals, your feet will be black at the end of the day from the black dirty sand.
It's part of the redesign. Ben Crenshaw and his golf course design partner. I can't remember the gentleman's name. I think it might be Coors, Bill Coors. But they a few years ago did a redesign. There used to be rough. The course used to be known for rough, but that was installed in the 70s. Well, they went back to. For those of you who don't know, Donald Ross is probably one of the early and probably the preeminent United States golf course architect early on when golf was starting to boom in the early 1900s. He came from Scotland, learned under the people who learned from Tom Morris, who's known as the original golf course architect. He designed the old course at St. Andrews, the oldest 18-hole course in the world. So Donald Ross has that heritage, and he was known for designing a lot of the golf courses, especially in the southeast. And he ended up living in Pinehurst. Pinehurst initially was what Monterey and Pebble Beach is now. It was the golf course resort area of the United States at the turn of the century. And Ross lived around here. Lived around and lived in Pinehurst. And Pinehurst number 2, there are 8 courses. I think they're going to end up being 10 here in the next few years. But Pinehurst number 2 is known as his masterpiece. It's known as his best. It's known as a true U.S. Open course, along with Pebble Beach and Oakmont and maybe Shinnecock Hills in New York. Those are really the 4, and Wingfoot. Those are the 4 or 5 big golf course design that the U.S. Open likes to host on. So and most of Ross's courses do not have that upside, that Volkswagen type green design, but Pinehurst number 2 is known for that. The landing area is actually about half the size of the square footage of each green.
Got you. Now, so Zach, real quick, we're here at Mulligan's Restaurant, Friday night karaoke night. Looking at some of the draft beer specials. We got $5 Blue Moons, canned beers only $3, bottled beer. Why can I say that? Bottled beer, $4.
Sound like you've already had something.
I know. I've had a few Sycamore Mountain candies at $6. Belgium Juicy Haze IPA at $6 as well. For you folks watching on YouTube, we got a group coming in here on 18. We're watching some of their approach shots. A group did just leave the green, so we got a little Captain's Choice tournament going on here. It doesn't look like too big of a tournament. Only about like 10 teams, it looks like, over there at the most.
I want to say it's best ball, Kevin, because they're not all hitting from the same spot.
It might be 2-on-2.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, so I did figure out a little bit of ways we can get some audio here. Here's that NC State call that we were wanting to that I wanted you to hear. So I have figured out a way to get some audio here. Now guys, we're doing some. This is not the way to do it, but we're gonna do it. All right, listen, Terry. Here's that lady announcer here at the NC State game.
It's a defensive swinging right there.
That one is in the air to right field. Mancini, his favorite color is green trees. Hits it out of the ballpark for a solo shot. 1-0 Dukes.
Once again, let's listen to this.
That one is in the air to right field. Mancini, his favorite color is green trees. Hits it out of the...
You know what she's talking about?
The trees in behind the park.
Yep.
Yeah.
He hit the ball in the trees. Now,
You're trying too hard. You're just trying.
Every call of hers is like that. She tries to say something weird about the play, and it's just she's getting on my nerves totally with that one. She's got a job. That's all I'm going to say. I got some fun stuff. Let's see. Let me grab any more baseball news now that I got the audio to do this real quick. Most miserable fan bases. This is all sports. Anybody want to guess who's number 1? Let's see if you guys can guess.
Cleveland?
No. But which Cleveland? This is a team. Individual teams. Anybody got any guesses? The most miserable? Now, Cleveland's number 2.
Philadelphia.
The New York Jets are the most miserable fan base according to this voting.
Well, it's been so long. I guess they've got tired of it.
So the Browns are 2, Rockies 3, Cowboys 7.
What?
Detroit Lions 10, Panthers 12.
Wow.
Hornets are 20. So we've got some hits there in the most miserable fan bases.
Hornets are only 20th?
I know, right?
Yeah.
They should be.
They should be in the top 5.
I know, right? Kansas City's 35, the Royals, that is. Ohio State, 41. Miserable people, I guess. Yeah, there you go, Tom.
If we don't beat Michigan, we're miserable. That's the truth.
That's just it.
Kevin, this is never a good sign. Okay, I'm sorry, I stand corrected.
They got one up
This
top.
is never a good sign. You have a group walking up, and I didn't see any balls on the green, but there is one, and there's one on the fringe right there.
That's not a.
They'll probably take that one and get to the report. No, there's one 10 feet right. They'll put that one.
Okay.
They got a left hook to put, but I don't know
say that's still not going to be easy.
if that's going to work. Let's see. So this is the announcers at the Cardinals game.
Marketplace of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Who knows? Maybe you'll get to sit next to her. SeatGeek app or SeatGeek.com. SeatGeek, the official ticket marketplace of the St. Louis Cardinals. Who knows? Maybe you'll get to sit next to her. It's into the SeatGeek app.
I don't know if you fellas, Terry can see the young lady here.
Of the St. Louis Cardinals.
She's had her corn, hasn't she, Terry?
Yes, she has.
And that is a fantastic advertisement, yo. Y'all don't get what they're doing. There's an empty seat next to this young lady, and they put the SeatGeek logo over it and said, sign on to SeatGeek. You might get to sit next to her. And I guarantee there's one guy going, is that open?
That is a great.
Sitting in the
That's just about
beautiful
He
shot.
almost hold that. That's textbook. That was
well, you know what that is? Par.
That's true.
That's a par. It's a good mess.
That one's going to run.
But there's the.
That's got to stop.
Terry, sometimes the announcers can't help themselves, can
Sorry.
can they?
You got to be careful with that sort of thing in today's society, man.
You can sit right next to her. It sounded like he was about to quit whatever he was doing and go mosey on down there and sit next to her. All right, so we've got some football NFL news. We'll talk Panthers and some other stuff. Let's see. CJ was asked about someone ever said to him on the field. I'll have to play that later because I don't remember what that said. It could be something. Let's talk about the Panthers, Zach. So we're going to clear that up in the break. So this week, Terry, Larry Allen passed away. Haven't got the details on exactly what happened. He was on vacation. He's 52 years old.
He was with his family and everything. Yeah, sure was.
It's too bad.
One of the greatest guards of all time.
Yes.
We've got some sound from some of his players, and Chip and Terry. I'm going to ask you this, Chip. You said one of the greatest, right? If you say Emmitt Smith, you'll say one of the greatest. You'll say.
I'd say the best.
Well, you'll say Troy Aikman, one of the greatest. Michael Irvin, one of the greatest. All that, right? Correct?
Yep.
Darren Woodson, one of the greatest.
Yes.
Charles Haley, one of the greatest. But they never, ever put the greatest on a Dallas Cowboy. Who's arguing that he's not the greatest lineman that's ever lived? And Chip, this wasn't about you.
Yeah,
this
it's fine.
And what I'm going with Terry on this, and he'll know, Hall of Fame voting. Yankees get in. Cowboys do not. It is a weird dynamic, is it not, Terry, that the Dallas Cowboy players, you'll say, it was Emmitt Smith the best. He had more touchdowns, more wins, more yards, more every single thing than Barry Sanders, and people are like, no, Barry Sanders is better. And they'll do the same thing with every single guy. I do. And I'll see, like you just said, and I've looked at the tweets, and a lot of them say, one of the best to ever do it. Well, who's better? Name me one guy.
I can name
Larry Allen.
I can name a lineman. I don't know guard. I think he's got an argument to be considered the greatest guard. I think you have to consider Anthony Munoz as maybe the greatest offensive lineman. Gene Upshaw. I mean, there are guys you can put up there as the greatest. But
it all depends on who you play for.
Right.
You know, I mean, I gave Tom a jersey.
Joe Thomas.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And he's one of the best ever.
Yeah.
But he played on a team that could not win hardly.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Jonathan Ogden.
So here's some. We're going to do some quotes and listen to some former players talk about Larry Allen. We're going to start with Emmitt Smith. He's a little broken up about it, and you know that's his man. So we'll let Emmitt talk for a minute on it.
You're selected. I'm one of the best offensive linemen I've ever played with, Larry Allen. And I get a call. My daughter Skylar called to tell me that he passed away. I'm at a loss of words right now. Such a good dude. Great player. Super person. And with death, bad weather, all kinds of things swirling around, loss of my folks and other friends. Just breaks my heart. And I know life is very fragile. And we're only here for a moment. And we need to make the best out of every moment. And not take people for granted.
I'm gonna let it. Emmett, he went on for about 2 more minutes. You guys can watch. You can watch it on our KDC Broadcasting or my Twitter feed. Liked it. So there, Emmett went on for a few minutes. Now let's look at some guys talking about it. Here's John Randall. You remember him from the Minnesota Vikings talking about what it's like to play against Larry Allen. He said he was one of the few players that he never tried to taunt.
It's like going against a bear, man. I mean, he's just humongous. Man, he'll grab you, pick you up, and start laughing. And there's nothing you can do. It's like going against a car. You're trying to stop him, you're just sliding. I've seen him take linebackers, just drop him 20 yards. Not 5, not 10, 20 yards. And you go back in the huddle, that linebacker looking at you going, what am I supposed to do? Do the best you can. You got a guy like Larry Allen in front of you, he was like a wall. He's like a stone.
One-handed.
Couldn't move it. He was very patient, and he never made a lot of mistakes. You weren't going to have guys just run up in there going, yeah, I'm going to bull rush Larry Allen. You never hear anybody say that. Did you bull rush him? Oh, that never came to my mind. Bull rush Larry? No, you didn't bull rush Larry.
No one teased the opposition better than John Randall did.
Hey, Charlie! Red Brown! J.J. Stokes! You cousin of J.J. Walker?
But when he faced Larry Allen, Randall quickly learned to keep his chin strap tight and his mouth shut.
You didn't taunt him? You were nice to Larry. Give him a hand up, smile at him. Sometimes he smiles back, sometimes he doesn't, but don't get him mad.
In the pit, only the strong survive. For 14 seasons, Larry Allen was a raging bull in those trenches, a force to be feared.
Nice job, L.A. What a battle, big man. Way to go. Larry, man, he is one of the most powerful men that ever played the game. Being able to take the pounding and come back and play. It's about pride. It's you versus him, and it's in the trenches.
There's John Randall. Here's Justin Tucker talking about Larry Allen on the Dan Lebertard show.
Large dude, you're a strong dude. Give us a name of a guy you played against. And you're like, man, I can't believe how strong this dude is.
It's only one person that I've ever went against that I was like, man, this guy is unbeatable. It's a guy named Larry Allen. And I got him when he was, quote unquote, old Larry Allen, but this guy was a brick wall. And he knew it, and he let you know it. So it was kind of like, well, I'm trying to switch sides with people all game, trying not to go that side.
Give us the story. How did he let you know it? Because I don't think of Larry Allen as a talker. I think of him as someone who dominates, but how did he let you know it?
Well, I did my research on Larry, and more importantly than how he let me know it, young Larry Allen would go up to the line of scrimmage and go, whoop, whoop, and he would literally let the D tackle know that Emmitt Smith and Moose Johnson is going to be running through this hole right here. There's nothing you can do about it. So just imagine you as an NFL D lineman, knowing what a play is, you telling all your buddies, yeah, they're going to run right here. And Emmitt Smith, obviously, it's a reason why he has the most rushing yards in the history of the NFL, because he probably got 10, 15, maybe 20 yards on that play when you know the play was coming right there. How does that make you feel going back to the huddle?
Wait a minute, you're telling us that Larry Allen would announce to you with a fake train whistle that he was coming straight to where you were going, and then
we never even know about it. What you gonna do about it? That guy used to lift like 700 pounds.
But he would just tell you? Like, he was just telling you?
It would be like me playing football against my son. Like Jace, I'm gonna run the ball right here. You can be here when I get here if you want to be. But yeah, so that guy, that's a special breed.
Tom, you can be here when I get here
if you want to be.
If you want to be. That's some smack talking right there.
The analogy you give was perfect though. Like playing with my kids, you can do what you want to anytime you want to. They're not. It's the perfect analogy.
Until they get older, and then all of a sudden they're reversing it.
Yeah,
I grew up a Niners fan in the '90s when when he was winding down, and then Young and Rice, and whenever those famous '90s matchups with the Cowboys, and I always was worried about our defensive front being able to stop Emmett or do anything if Larry Allen was healthy. If he was in the game, that side of the offensive line, and on the flip side, that side of the defensive line was not going to have a good day because Larry Allen was going to make a hole.
Here's the former Pro Bowl tight end Delaney Walker on his welcome to the NFL moment.
Welcome to the league moment. It probably had to be Larry Allen and Vernon Davis fight. It wasn't. They happened to me, but Vernon Davis was my homie, and he was about to fight Larry Allen, and I had to choose. Like, am I gonna help this man, or am I sit back and just let that shit happen? I had to let it happen.
If you didn't understand it, he said, I'm trying to decide whether to help Vernon Davis in his fight with Larry Allen or just let it happen. And he said, I just let it happen.
Man, my man was the strongest man in the NFL.
Larry was 692 pounds.
The strongest man. These 4, 5 niggas. When I see my man grab my dog by the hair, I'm like, he didn't even care that he was grabbing the hair. I'm like, this a dirty fighter right here. He a dirty fighter.
Let it. Terry, grown man grab you by the hair. He's he's pissed off and serious about whatever's about to happen. Let's see if I got any more on Larry. I don't have any more, but we talked about the 700-pound bench press before. You guys, for watching online, saw a little bit of that actually. And then, but finally, real quick, the Emmett Larry Allen thing, Terry. And I'll contend as far as ever that Emmett was the best vision, as in picking the hole, hitting it, and going. Barry Sanders might be best left to right, wherever you are. You shake somebody if there's somebody there. Emmett was second to none in that too. But the thing about it is that what he's talking about, that play, Tom, 22 lead draw. I know the play. Yeah. They only had 5 plays if you watch any of the old shows. The 22 lead draw, or you got a toss sweep, and then there's a comebacker to Michael, a go to Michael, and a go to Alvin, and Novacek and the tight ends ran the read routes. That's it. And the defense knew. And like he said, well, be there about 5 seconds if you want to, but the train's coming through right here. But the Emmett thing, the reading of the lines, the holes, you didn't run behind Larry every play, but he was going to get those 2 to 4 yards out of it, Terry, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And then if you needed 7, he'd get the 8.
And one thing I liked about him, because if you go back and look at some of the old films, that's like when Emmett hurt his shoulder against the Giants and he went down. He got back up and he stayed in the game, and Larry Allen was one of the first people over pulling him up. Let's go, buddy. Let's go.
I think Emmett said he couldn't move his shoulder. Michael said, they don't know that.
That's right. That's right.
He said, go play. So here's the last time, we'll play a little trivia here, a NFL team had a 1,500-yard rusher. Okay? Last time, the team had a 1,500-yard rusher. 2022, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, and Josh Jacobs for the Titans, Browns, and Raiders. One team in NFL history, guys, has never had a 1,500-yard rusher. Can y'all guess?
The Dolphins.
They are not that team.
That is a good guess, though.
The Dolphins, the last time they had one was, where's their logo? Am I blind? Ricky Williams, 2002. So it's been 22 years, been 2 decades since the Dolphins have had one. Terry, you got a guess?
If I had to just guess, I'd say the Jets.
It's not the Jets. The Jets' last rusher was Curtis Martin.
Don't forget old Curtis Martin.
Yeah.
2004. Chip, you got a guess?
Keep going. No, I was going to guess the Panthers, but I forgot about Stephen Davis.
Panthers, who you really forgot about, was D'Angelo Williams.
Yeah.
And John
he was the last one in 2008. Zach, you got a guess?
I saw it.
Okay. Zach, you want to tell them who the team that's never had a 1,500-yard rusher?
It is the Cincinnati Bengals.
The Bungle.
Oh, wow. Icky Woods
didn't get a
1,500-yard
He didn't get to do the shuffle for
the
the
team with
1,500.
the longest streak in NFL history besides the Bengals, 1976 was their last 1,500-yard rusher. He has been accused of murder.
Oh, the Bills.
Any other guesses?
That's awesome.
Any other guesses? OJ, 1976, the Bills. Otis Anderson, the Cardinals, 1979. James Wilder, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 1984. The Bears still have not replaced Walter Payton in 1985.
They had, was it Thomas Jones? Was that right? Does that sound right? He was
from Dallas. He went over there. So Walter Payton was 1985. The next, it skips 12 years. 1997, the Steelers and the Detroit Lions. Jerome Bettis and Barry Sanders. Then you had Ricky Williams, Jamal Lewis, Clinton Portis in Denver, Amon Green at Green Bay, Daniel Thomason, last time for the Chargers, 2006, Steven Jackson. It's like the last time anyone had a really good back. This is like the list of all the best backs in NFL history based on teams, basically. Tiki Barber, 2006. But isn't it wild how, like,
is it Frank Gore for the Niners?
Teams will go, hold on, yeah, that was my very next one, Frank Gore, 2006 for the Niners. That teams will go years, if not decades, Terry, before you replace a running back or a quarterback. The Dolphins still haven't replaced Marino or Ricky Williams. It's 2000. It's been 2 decades since they replaced the quarterback or the running back.
I still have a hard time, though. I know the NFL changed and you got to have receivers, but that running back has a lot of duty. And he's going to touch the ball besides the center and the quarterback. He's going to touch it the most next, and it really bothers me of how the NFL all of a sudden running backs mean nothing.
But
I mean, if you got good running backs who can come out of your backfield to receive passes, it becomes a big thing.
That's the thing, though. You're gonna the way the game has evolved and become so pass centric. Derrick Henry is an anomaly, and you don't. And I argue how much more effective he's going to be for the Ravens now. Has his best years are his legs gone, or the majority of his legs gone? You're going to need a running back more like Christian McCaffrey, who instead of looking at total rushing yards, you're looking at total yards gained from the line of scrimmage.
Just got $19 million.
Yeah, that too. And so, do you still have that? Do you still have that list up, Kevin?
I can get to it.
I was curious. Who was the last Brown to do it?
Nick Chubb last year.
So it does. To your point, it does bring up some of the most historic running backs, but it's your most recent running back because obviously Jim Brown's not going to be on that list now because of that.
And that 1,500 is a special mark.
Yeah,
it ain't like a 1,000-yard rusher.
Right.
This is a little bit tier up.
Well, there's been the argument since they went to 16 games, and obviously now it's 17. But since they went to 16 games, that the 1,000-yard rusher was kind of diminished. It was you almost wanted to go like to 1,250. Is like, have you had a really good running year?
Well, 1,000 yards
that's when I look back now, and
60 yards a
you're
game.
talking about that. That's what I'm saying, because you're looking at 60, 65 yards a game to be a 1,000-yard rusher.
That's not much.
And that's Emmett. Not Emmett, but Zeke coming back with Dallas. If people think he can't get 1,000 yards, he can. I mean, he had 600 and some, almost 690 something with Buffalo.
He averages what, like 3.1 a carry? If they'll give him 2,000 carries, Tom, he might get
with
there.
The Patriots,
That's what there's an old quote from Buddy Ryan. I can't remember who he cut. He goes, well, you cut this guy. He had 1,000 yards rushing. He goes, yeah, on 1,000 carries. So I can't remember the running back he was talking about.
Well, all right, Tom, it's time to ask for money. The billionaire owner of the Carolina Panthers, who is worth $22 billion with a B, has proposed some stadium upgrades to Bank of America Stadium. The renovations and upgrades are going to cost $800 million. Now remember, Jerry World, Terry, was built for $1 billion. So looking at what the Panthers are going to do with their upgrades, what are they going to spend with their money? Now remember, last time they did this, when Jerry Richardson was here, he asked for $400 million for upgrades for escalators. I did the math on escalators. It meant they were going to buy like 125 escalators. They didn't buy a single escalator. So where did that money go? It's basically what I said at that time was, and this happens all the time, when the owners don't sell out their seasons and the fans don't show up, the very next year we need stadium upgrades. we're going to raise. They raised the ticket prices, didn't they, Zach?
Mm-hmm.
They even raised the ticket prices. He didn't make his money that he thought he was going to. Now he's got to get the fans back. Well, how much did we lose? About $600 million. Okay, fans, we need $800 million in upgrades. What are they going to upgrade? Well, let's look at the pictures. It looks like in the corner of the upper deck, they're going to build a 3-tiered bar. So we got a 3-tiered bar. Let's click on the next picture.
I saw the 3D images on the news.
We've got a picture. We've got a outside video screen for fans that don't have a ticket. So we got a big TV.
Block parties they want to have.
And that's it. There's no other upgrades. There's no other list. There's no other pictures of anything. I'm just looking. Here's the pictures of the Panthers upgrades. And all it is a big screen outside and a bar. They built Jerry World for $1 billion. He's saying that video screen and that bar is going to cost $800 million.
Inflation, Kevin.
Now, let's say that's true and that's what we're going with. He's not saying that he's going to pay for it, though.
Yeah.
He wants the public taxpayers 60%. Of Charlotte to pick up $650 million of the $800 million. Now, he's a billionaire, right?
Yeah.
What, Chip? Do some math for me over there. You're a banker guy. Give me $22 billion divided by $150 million. Just type it in Google that way. Just spell it out is the best way to do it. $22 billion divided by $150 million. And then what we're going to do is see how many video screens he could buy his damn self.
Almost 150.
There you go.
Almost 150.
We could have 150 bars and video screens in this stadium. So, folks, if you give him that money and you don't have 150 video screens the size of the state of Texas, then he's stealing money from you. And that's what this is. I didn't sell enough Coke. I didn't sell enough beer in the stadium because the fans didn't show up this year.
Well, if he'd quit tossing the Coke out his window, he might be.
At the fans, and where was that at? It was an away game.
Yeah, it was an away game.
But the audacity of these owners to ask, he didn't even asking for $100 million.
Greed.
But he's asking for 75% of it.
Oh, but Kevin, the Panthers stimulate the Charlotte economy.
Rich people don't get rich spending their own money, do they?
They don't. That's exactly what I told Jackie. I said, billionaires stay billionaires for a reason, because they don't use their own money for anything. So and they screw people out of money. I mean, I've said that you can become a millionaire if you work, but you can't become a billionaire through work. You got to cheat people out of money, and that's just what they do. And it's sad. When I saw that on the news, I'm like, are you kidding me? That he wants the city to pay? I can't remember, like 60, 70, 80%, something like that. I was like, are you kidding me? This guy. And then going into local restaurants and harassing people.
I was about to say, I think David Tepper just showed up. He's going to come talk to us real
He'll
quick.
be
He'll be here in just a minute.
Grab your drink.
But but he's a billionaire bully. He's a bully. That's what he thinks he can do. And he did. I mean, did everybody not see what he did? Wasn't it Fort Mill where they were supposed to put the? Yeah. And he just basically walked away and screwed them and left them holding the bag. Yeah. I mean, it's just. I mean,
I hate to say this, and I've made this comment several months ago during football season, but he's
a bad person.
He's lining himself up to be the new Dan Snyder.
So this is basically what he's asking. Is it county or city taxpayer? Is it county?
Probably Met County.
I did the math on the county.
Mm-hmm.
So this is $433 a person in Mecklenburg County. Now, however you think that's big or a little, let's say you're a family on whatever food stamps or whatever, and you're not making $430. Right. You got 5 people.
Which there's a sizable conglomerate of that in Charlotte.
That's $2,000 that you're not getting from that family alone. Well, who's picking up the rest of it? Right. The other taxpayers. So you're not. It's not $430 per tax. It's $430 per person.
On average.
It's probably $2,000 per taxpayer.
Yeah.
Is that closer to maybe where it might be?
That might be accurate. Yeah.
So that's what he's asking for, the taxpayers, every taxpayer in Mecklenburg County to give him $2,000, whether you like the Panthers fan, whether you're going to go to those games, whether do nothing. And then you're basically saying, give me $2,000 of your taxpayer money. And Terry, I mean, should the public be footing that bill for at all?
Well,
much less for video screens and a bar?
What is the new thing that they come in, said it can be prolonged now? Something else is coming in so they can borrow early to get this done in Charlotte. Because something that was supposed to end like this year or next year, and now they can go ahead.
Tax rule,
like tax credit or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure,
but now they can go ahead and jump into that to get it for then. What's
Charlotte
going to do?
Government work.
I mean, what's Charlotte going to do? They're going to say, "Okay, let's go."
Well,
because it's going to be the big name people who have the money. It's going to say, yeah, let's do it. And it's not going to worry about the little people like you or me or Tom or something. It's not going to worry about that.
What you got to look out for now is, okay, I'm gonna strong arm you. Oh, you're not gonna give me the money? All right. Another city wants a team, right?
All right. Okay.
Are y'all ready for the Myrtle Beach Panthers?
To your point, Tom and Kevin,
I've been telling y'all for years.
This is all right. Maybe this is extreme. We've got a franchise that, I hate to say it, doesn't look set up for success anytime soon. Let's just put it that way. We've got a new man, got a new coach, new GM, and who knows, but
middle school quarterback,
possibly. But we've got an owner who the community. Let's just, how do I put this diplomatically? He's not exactly in love with this. With the community's not exactly in love with him.
I think he's moving.
100%. Is that necessary? I know short term that's going to be. Yeah, that means we lose a football team. Is that necessarily a bad thing?
Not if we get a baseball team.
He wants,
or do we? I mean,
he wants. I tell you what, he wants a big fancy stadium like Jerry Jones.
Yeah,
and he don't care where it's at.
Yeah,
that's true.
100%. I think. Well, now that North Carolina's legalized gambling, it may not be the Myrtle Beach Panthers. I think that's where they'd get the most fans in the Carolinas is there because everybody can drive there within 3 hours from both Carolinas, basically 3 to 4 hours. I think that's the best place if he's going to keep it in Carolinas. He may end up in St. Louis.
I don't think
know.
he wants to stay in the Carolina. He has no affinity here. He has no connection.
So I think they're going to build up the stadium. Use this, Tom. Build up the stadium, and then he's going to be like, "We still need a new one, this and that," and he's going to ask for a new one. They're going to say no. Then he's going to move and just leave. They're going to leave the stadium in a nice way it is. We got a soccer field, and that's what we're going to.
It's all leveraging.
It says the new seats, expanded team store. So I'm going to make a bigger space for you to give me more money. New video boards and a sound system. Awesome. $650 in public funding. Now, Ryan McGee's from the area, reporter for ESPN. His tweet is, "This will be interesting socialist experiment here in Charlotte. The last time a widely despised team owner said, 'Give me a lot of money or I'll leave,' the Hornets ended up in New Orleans."
Yes. And how many years did it take? We ended up getting another basketball franchise, and we minus the owner that nobody likes. Okay. Let's follow the same blueprint. I mean, if we really don't have that much of a relationship established with David Tepper, if that doesn't seem to be working, if he wants to move, yes, short term it's going to stink. We're not going to have a local team. Let him move, and then let's
I'm going to show you
follow the same blueprint that the Hornets did.
This is a picture of part of the upgrades. Zach, do you see the upgrades? It's just a picture of the outside.
Right.
There is no upgrade. So they're even lying about the upgrades, Tom. This is just a picture of fans standing outside on the concrete. Terry, have you seen
how do billionaires become billionaires?
No, y'all missed it. You walked away a minute ago. You missed
taking Tom's tax money. All right, we'll be back in a minute. We'll finish up NBA finals and playoffs here in just a few moments on KTCBroadcasting.com.
Is everybody done?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm through. I think I was the last one. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate you so much. Okay. Okay. Yeah, four. So, all right.
What does? The beers?
The table numbers.
I got radio. I got commercials playing. Yeah.
I told them I was going to do the steak night. I couldn't remember the price. So it's $28 for tonight, and then they got wine deals also.
That's a great. Yeah, did you see the shot from up above the frames and do the yellow shirt? Oh my gosh, it's one of the best shots I've ever seen.
You hear what I said about them guys in there? He said, "Man, you're famous," and he was talking about they had it on TV, and the guy come in his place. Said, "Man, you're famous." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You on TV?" He said, "We watched them call you Duff 2 in the water." They thought we were. They was laughing. That's hilarious. It's a beautiful day, though. Look at the court. I mean, it's gorgeous.
I just hope it stays like it.
Is less rain then?
No, I'm just saying. I just hope the green stays. Green.
All right, yeah, y'all ready?
And we're back.
Hold on, I gotta hit the button.
Go ahead.
Back? Okay, oh yeah. And we're back on Saturday Morning Sports Talk on the beautiful golf course today.
He's still here.
We're over here.
I know.
He figured his name out. He's been here for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, deer or something.
We're over here at Deerbrook at Mulligan's.
There we go.
At Mulligan's, I'm up now, and just talked to the owner, Wayne. He said he wanted to let everybody know that this is not a private course like we said earlier. This is a public course, and tonight they'll be having their steak deals, $28 for a steak dinner tonight with, I believe it's a baked potato and a salad, I believe, and then they have wine deals also. So come on out here to Mulligan's and get you one of the best steaks in the area.
That is one of the things, my wife and I talk about where we're going to go eat. We've got to find something nice to eat. And you got to remember to come out here to Mulligan's at Deerbrook now. Zach said it's great. That steak night is Saturday. A lot better deal than Friday nights or any other nights. Come out here and get a fantastic deal on some steak for you steak lovers out here. I haven't had the steak yet. I've had plenty of the other food so far. I haven't got here to steak night, but everything has been so good, so fresh. Juan Hogue is the cook back here. I can't say enough about him. Good guy and everything. The food was good, guys. The biscuits and gravy this morning was just. I've had to have 3 teas to just to get at the biscuits all the way down. That they were so soft, so thick, so good. There goes Wayne right now. And so just want to highly recommend come out here and grab you some food. Lunch. I had a salad yesterday. Zach, you had a hot dog. Chili. Zach had a chili dog yesterday for lunch. So you're going to see us. We'll be back out here Friday, Zach and I, next Friday. Wednesday, I don't know exactly where me and Will will be. Thursday, Shannon. I'll be over at City Park with Shannon on Thursday probably for the weekday show. All right, over in the NBA, Terry Celtics take a 1-0 lead at home over the Dallas Mavericks. The next game is tonight, correct?
Tomorrow night.
It's tomorrow night.
Oh, I thought they was going to play tonight.
No, we don't
So they
play
skipped?
every 2 days.
I was going to say they skipped. Yeah, okay.
Then we jump like Sunday and we go to Wednesday.
So it'll be like 3 weeks finals.
Yeah, they don't play as often as they used to.
They got to have people talk. The ESPN's got to talk about it.
They don't want to have the
Luka's
players
got to have
rest.
some rest.
Is that what they got to have?
Yeah, Luka's got to have
They need
rest.
something. They got blown out in game 1.
And that's one thing I've been people talking about. The hockey playoffs are on now. Tom, I don't know if you pay attention to any of them.
Edmonton and Florida.
I'm pulling for Edmonton. Their fans are the best in the world.
I can't pull for a hockey team from Florida.
I guess y'all haven't seen the video of the Edmonton fan, have you?
No.
Edmonton now has a famous lady fan. I'm not quotations on the lady at all. And if you'll look it up and Google it, the Edmonton Oilers fan, you'll find out why. Her sweater has a problem staying on when the team scores.
Really?
Yes. Really? She has a problem. And Terry, she's had her corn as well. And so just look up the Edmonton Oilers big fan on YouTube. That's the only thing I can say about that. So pull for the Oilers. But what I was going to say is that in hockey, every game has been competitive. They're exciting. And then Terry, we talked about this last week, and it aggravates me is that you sit down, get ready for an NBA playoff game. It don't matter what round.
Home or away team.
You don't know if it's home or away. One of them is 50. There's almost a 50-50 chance now. One of them is not. Every game is going to be a blowout.
Yeah.
It's not even like 1 out of 7. It's 4 of the 7 games are going to be blowout. We'll have 2 or 3 competitive. What's the issue with that? Or are we just giving up once you get 15 points? What's going on with the NBA with that? It's kind of aggravating for me.
Well, it kind of frustrates me because the other night Boston was up by 29, and then Luka hits the shot. It cuts it all the way to 8, and Boston takes a timeout. But, I think the true people off of Boston's team now are the guys like Horford, True Holiday, who understands what it takes to finish a game. And, True Holiday was one of the best because he was like, get with it, guys, and there's up by 20. Like, we got to finish, And I think you got to have them guys. I think Jason Tatum and Brown are finishers. They're closers, but sometimes when they get up by a lot, they sit back and don't play as hard as a D as what they should be playing, where you're going to get that out of everybody else. But this is a series that, I never thought Dallas. Everybody in the world took Dallas to win this. If you look across the board, I'm going to say 75% of the people. But I never did understand that when they had played twice in the regular season and Boston had beat them by 9 points in one game and by 28 in another game, and then turn around this time and beat them by 18. You kind of sit back and say, when is the time that Dallas is ever going to give Boston a game? You know, and
Terry,
it might be tonight. They played 3 times this year.
That's true. That's
in
true.
Boston, the closest that Dallas has come is 9 points.
The thing about Boston is that if I'm building a team, let's say on NBA 2K or whatever, you guys have depth or a good player at every position that I can trust. There's no Draymond out there that's not. I give it to him and he's going to throw it off the wall. Every single one of your guys' players is reliable on offense.
I mean, we brought in a 6-man, Porzingis. I mean,
that's what I was talking about. Was Porzingis?
You know?
You got
when he
guy
shows back
play.
up and he just destroyed the first quarter. If you remember, he was just he was hitting. They were all hitting everything.
I'm curious what they would, and I'm not saying they wouldn't still win. I am curious what the game would look like if Porzingis was not healthy. I think, and we said this last week. All but Kevin, and I think all of us but Kevin who were there. Tom wasn't here. Wasn't. I think we made the picks. Wasn't here at that point. But we all picked. I think Boston in 6 is what we picked. Mine hinged on Porzingis' health. I might even head and say Boston in 5 right now if Porzingis remains healthy. I am curious how close this series would be if something happens or if he was not healthy.
They're like Kevin said, their depth is so good.
That's why I'm not completely flippant in saying that Dallas would have the advantage. But yeah, it's Boston right now. If Porzingis is healthy, that they are a matchup nightmare for
Dallas. And what
Dallas.
I tell people last week, I said y'all was talking about Luka. Well, Luka's going to score. We're going to let him.
The points weren't the issue.
We're going to stop Kyrie. We're going to stop all of his feeding people.
That was
stop him.
The 30 points wasn't the issue.
Yeah.
One assist.
One assist.
That was what. That was where they really stifled Luka.
All right, well, I guess next week we'll be talking about game 2.
Right?
Well, we'll be through 2 and 3. Game 3 is on Wednesday.
They used to do what? Tell me, I'm not making this up. It used to be 2 games back to back. 1 day break, 3 games back to back because they had to travel.
Sure ain't playing back to back in the playoffs.
I mean,
anymore.
what in the world?
All right, here's some NBA stuff and other tweets before we get out of here.
That mentality goes to your issue about rules, Tom. Right there, everybody just and to question you asked earlier, Kevin, as you're looking that stuff up, and Terry, go with me on this. Kevin alluded to it. I think teams, they're not as mentally tough. If they get down by a large portion, most of the teams, they're going to load management, and they're just packing it in until the next game. That's why you got so many blowouts.
All right, here's an NBA theory. If you want to be a champion, you need to sign a Washington Wizard. It's happened for like 6, 7, 8 straight years. This guy's about to talk about it. If you sign a Wizard, you win a championship.
Involves getting Washington Wizards on your team. Let me take you all the way back to the 2017 Warriors. Is that Sean Livingston? Yeah, and before Sean Livingston was winning championships, he was on the Wizards. Also on that team and on the 2018 team, JaVale McGee. What did JaVale McGee do before he was winning championships? Okay, 2019 now. Toronto Raptors win it all. Is that Jody Meeks? Between his time with the Lakers and winning championships, what was Jody Meeks getting up to? 2020, the Lakers win it all in the bubble. JaVale McGee's on that team too, but so is Dwight Howard and Markieff Morris. Milwaukee won it all in 2021. Maybe they broke this trend. Well, no, because Bobby Portis played half a season for the Wizards. In 2022, the Warriors bounced back to win it. They had Otto Porter, Chris Chiozza, and Gary Payton II. 2023, Jokic led Denver to a title, but not without the help of Ish Smith, Thomas Bryant, Jeff Green, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. And now in 2024, this trend will continue. The starting bigs for both finals teams, the Celtics and the Mavs, was the Wizards' front court just a season ago. So if you want a team to win a championship, snatch a role player from the Wizards.
Wow. 7 straight years.
That's a good theory.
Of teams picking signing a role player from the Wizards and winning a championship.
Somebody had to figure that out.
Yeah, somebody thought about that.
That guy. that guy. All right,
next, I'm going to show you my Fortnite strategy.
Let's see. All right. So they're talking about, this was an interesting thing. People were talking about comparing the Warriors with the Kevin Durant team and who could beat them and who could play with them. Terry, we always talked about the Bulls could play with them because they could defend them all from every position. And somebody brought up, well, who else could play like that? I'm giving you guys the 2004 Detroit Pistons.
I think that's fair. My only question, could they score no?
Point guard, Chauncey Billups. Shooting guard, Rip Hamilton would be on
Clay.
Then you've got Kevin Durant. Where they're like, well, who's guarding Durant at small forward? Ladies and gentlemen, I give you
Tayshaun Prince.
Grizzlies took out Oklahoma City Thunder in 5 games in the playoffs in the second round. Kevin Durant scored 21 points. His 37th straight playoff game with 20 points in a row, but it wasn't enough as he only shot 23% from the field, the third worst of his career. Combined 4 of 22 attempts. Well, who guarded Kevin Durant, Zach? Tayshaun Prince. Prince guarded Durant 67% of his field goal attempts in the last 2 games of the series after sharing a 50-50 split. The first 2 games, Durant was unable to score inside the paint at all in the last 2 games, scoring a total of 10 points and averaging 12 in the paint. So, defensive-wise, you've got the Detroit Pistons there, Terry, with them. Then you even talk about the backcourt with Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace down low. So, Draymond's getting his 6 points, but Bogut, any of them, keep it. So Draymond and Ben Wallace go. Even there, you got Rasheed. So I think that's a very good case for a team that could guard and play with him. Terry, what do you think?
I think so. I mean,
except for Draymond, nobody can guard Draymond.
That's right.
Lakers working on signing Dan Hurley from UConn. Tom, what do you think about that?
Really?
Yeah. They're going to make a massive long-term investment.
I thought the Lakers. I thought they were hiring J.J. Redick.
JJ did too.
Apparently, it was a bait and switch. They're interviewing people. JJ thought he was in on it.
Hurley had been on their list for a while. They just didn't know if he was serious about considering it, and he was considering it. They are considering
From the top ropes comes Dan Hurley.
A massive long-term contract offer. Apparently, is what they're building for him.
So he has said in the past that he did want to do NBA, and so do you turn the Lakers down, Terry? If you're a coach, I mean that's the job you don't turn down, is it?
They're going to give him a great big contract. He's going to leave. There's no way he's going to stay at UConn if the Lakers are asking. My whole deal with him is this: can he go from a college coach to an NBA coach and be successful?
Yeah. That's always the question. I mean, and they brought up this is the 20-year anniversary of when the Lakers tried to sway Mike Krzyzewski to come from Duke, and so that's always the dynamic you're curious about. Can that college coach who's coaching young men who still have a sense of respect for authority, can he go to a place where now he's not necessarily
he's the assistant coach.
He's not the face.
That's right.
He's not the face. He's not the primary authority figure on the roster.
Well, they showed some clips of him telling people on his UConn bench to get in the huddle, get in the huddle, get in the huddle, and they're like, good luck telling LeBron to get in the huddle. All right, we're going to end the show here with a little golf reporting, and this may be the most embarrassing reporting I've ever seen.
Oh, boy.
Quick preview. Basically, folks, the reporter mistakes the Pro-Am player for who they are. She thinks he's Vince Young from Texas, okay? It's not Vince Young from Texas. So let's play the clip for the folks at home.
Playing this week, he is down with Bourne. Vince Young playing this week, he is down with Bourne.
6 seasons in the NFL, arguably one of the best NCAA quarterbacks of all time in Texas. Picked up golf about 4 years ago. What's the biggest shift you make going from the ultimate team sport to now the ultimate individual sport?
Now, I apologize. You have the wrong person. I'm Everett Sands over City Hall, so which I'm a football coach. The thing is, the great thing about golf is I'm not only competing against myself, but I'm competing against everybody else.
This is your first Pro-Am ever played, and what's the best part of being out here?
Well, being out here is a great thing, and having an opportunity to play with some professional golfers is a intimidating thing, but also a great thing.
All right, so there's Everett Sands, Citadel football coach. Now, I don't know if she told them she had Vince Young or if they told her that was Vince Young, because the announcer said Vince Young, the regular announcer did.
He did.
So I don't know if he was telling her that's who that was or she told them she had him. But either way, I'm here with Vince Young, Terry. And
I'm going to be honest. What did the guy say? I apologize. Yeah. He apologized for her.
Yeah, he did.
You know what I'm saying?
He held it. Everett Sands did a fantastic job as the coach on that one.
Classy.
But Chip, for you, and JP, all you young announcers out there, Tom, you gotta kind of figure out who you're talking to first before you talk to them.
That always helps.
Any other? All right, Tom. Any other final thoughts this week? You think anything big coming up this week?
No, nothing this week. I just want to wish my brother a happy birthday. I need to call in, tell Captain Ron this week. You know, he turns 39 again on June 10th. So to him, and I just want one more time, know I did at the beginning. Congratulations to Burns and their great season. Came up a little short last weekend, but I just want to thank Calvin and you, Kevin, and everybody who made that broadcast possible. They were listening to it during graduation, and they sent me a picture and said, "Hey, we got it on," And we make those things possible when and I know that Brent and Jeff have done some Shelby football championships, and we've done Crest football championships. So I want to extend our appreciation and gratitude to that community for tuning in and to the station for making that possible.
Yeah. And also,
Terry, what you got this week?
Well, I wanted to say also for the Kings Mountain Lady Mountaineers, they went 0-2 in their championship run. They got beat by South Brunswick 2-0 and 2-1, to come up short also. But for everybody this week, and I'm going to tell you something else, Tom, they've come into. Now when you go to, and I'm going all the way to youth baseball now, all them kids get a ring starting this year.
Johnny gets a trophy, even though Johnny sucks.
Chip, got anything this week going on?
Head on over to Veterans Field, Keeter Stadium this weekend, folks. We've got American Legion teams, got Post 82 playing this weekend. We've got teams from Columbia, Tennessee, Easley, South Carolina, Evans, Georgia, all over. We've got 3 games today, starting at first pitch. Game 1's 2, and we got 2 games again tomorrow over Veterans Field, Keeter Stadium on the campus of Shelby High School. Come out and support these guys.
All right, Zach, finish up a little bit about what's going on here again. Friday nights, karaoke night, and what else on the specials and everything?
Yeah, they'll be having tonight. Come on out and visit Steak Saturday here at Mulligan's at Deerbrook. They'll be having steaks for $28 tonight. I believe you get a baked potato and a salad. Very, very good deal. I think that's about a $10 difference on what the normal price is. And they've also got wine specials for tonight. Again, on Tuesdays, they got Taco Tuesday. Come support them on Taco Tuesdays. Wednesdays is Wing Night. And again, Fridays is the karaoke night, 7 to 10. Come see Scott Richards. I'll be out here. Wayne's always out here. And then Chef Juan, thank him and his staff today.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Amy, too.
Our server.
Amy, she did a fantastic job.
She was a great server. Thank you, her and Juan.
And the food was fantastic. Come out and support their breakfast.
Zach and I'll be out here next Friday, folks. You can come sit with us, talk to us. We'll interview you if you're out here. Grabbing lunch. Come grab lunch with us at Deerbrook next Friday, Zach and myself. Calvin Hastings at the Rail Trail today. That's over by Me Pueblitos.
Sweet.
Go see him today. They're going to be there out at 12 to 3 today, guys. 12 to 3 is the broadcast time, not 10 to 2. And listen to that on 101.5 FM. Here in Cleveland County. For you folks here in Cleveland County, it'll be on 101.5 FM. Thanks for listening, folks, to Shock Jock Saturday Sports Talk. I'm Kevin Hastings, along with Terry Reinhardt, Zach Mayu, Tom Sinafani, Chip Carter, and John Prather. As always, we want to send it back to the studios for some country music and more. Like I said, Calvin will be on 101.5 today from the Rail Trail in Shelby. We're going to send it back to studios right now. Just a sec. KDCBroadcasting.com.